YouTube. Let me turn this down a little. All right, that was a great song. YouTube, what's going on? My name is Bill. This is KO Bets, the show where we haven't lost a bet yet. Not really. We do a pretty good job, though, on the show, picking at a 72% clip. Something new I'm going to roll out this week on my Twitter. If you want to go ahead and follow me, I'll put that actually in the chat. Actually, you know, I never tweet at myself. I don't know my handle. All right, I got it. Put this in the chat. I'm going to start at the advice of a coworker. I got to start speaking the language of a gambler, right? So I'm going to start, instead of just tracking money line percentage, I'm going to go ahead and start tomorrow. You know, we're going to start tracking units on bets that I place. So I'm going to go ahead on my Twitter channel just for free for now. See where things go. I'm going to put my picks out there. We'll include parlays. We'll include, you know, just straight up money line picks, props. I'll put all that out there. But tomorrow we've got a great fight card. We got UFC 275. What we got on the itinerary today? We've got an NFT update to give you. We've got fights to review or preview. We've got NBA finals. I'll give my pick before it starts, and then you know, before we do the picks, because I think that starts at 8. So by the time I'm done with picks, the game will already be on. We'll go over trending topics too if we got time. That's always fun to look at Twitter. So without further ado, subscribe to the channel, like the video. I appreciate you guys getting this stuff out here, and I appreciate the support always. NFT update. At 100 subscribers, I'm going to give away a UFC Strike moment. Now, if you're not familiar with UFC Strike, let's go ahead and see if I can pull it up here. Yep, I got it. All right, here we go. You can kind of see it off to the side here, but basically UFC Strike, it's a small video clip, collective moment that, you know, I've got a bunch of them. I've got like 30 of them. I'm going to start giving them away at significant milestones just to say thank you for supporting the channel. And as promised, I'd also like to get my NBA pick out there before the game starts. We've got the NBA Finals going on. Warriors down 2-1, Celtics won Game 3 pretty handedly. Looked super athletic. Jeff Van Gundy talked about it during the broadcast. Just looked way athletic. So I think the Warriors kind of got to go into this game and play lights out. I love parlaying together like an over-under pick along with my money line pick. For this game, I'm going over 213. Even though the games in the playoffs and probably the finals do have a tendency to slow down a little bit, I think like that over is so low. I think 2 out of the 3 games thus far have hit on the over in the finals here. I know we got 2 great defenses, but the top 4 defenses were in the conference finals. So, I mean, these teams can easily put up, you know, one of them's going to put up like 120 points and the other person's going to break 100. That's just my opinion, but I don't anticipate the 3-point shooting to be as good this game. It was pretty crazy. I think score in the first half might have been like 75, 60 something. It was absolutely nuts. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring, but I think the over's nice. I'm going to parlay it with the Golden State Warriors here. I'm probably going to do a unit here and a half unit here. So if a unit, let's just, for educational purposes, since I'm going to start doing this, let's say a unit's $10. I'm going to do 5 on the parlay, 10 there. Hopefully it works out for me. I feel comfortable about that over 213.5 bet. You know, the Warriors, I like them to respond in game 4 here. We'll see what ends up happening. The Celtics look good though, you know. The Warriors can't get stuck, you know, playing perimeter ball. They're good enough to do that, but they gotta put a little more pressure on the Celtics defense. All right, let's get into the fights. That's why we're all here, right? We're all here to watch the fights. I gotta go to live here. My bad. You just missed my NBA spiel. But the gist of it, basically, I'm going with the Warriors. I'm going with the over 213.5. I like that bet a lot. Early prelims. So I think we only had one fight that, you know, got canceled, and that was Rogero Ontorin taking on Manel Cape. Rogero basically was having kidney issues as he was cutting weight, so not a good situation. Went to the hospital. But besides that, you know, we've got, I think, 12 fights. 11 fights to go over. Ramona Pascual, 6-3, taking on Jocelyn Edwards, 10-4. Both fighters coming off losses. Jocelyn's on a 2-fight losing streak. Ramon Pascual is 0-1 in the UFC. Jocelyn hasn't won in the UFC since her debut victory. If we're looking at the two fighters, Ramona Pascual has... So I think she does give TED Talks. She definitely does. I don't know if she does talks or if she's just done one, but she's definitely done a TED Talk before. In her debut, I would say it's clear like she's not the best striker. So I think an advantageous position for her in this is just going to be like nailing that takedown. I don't think there's really a path to victory that's in Ramona's favor, that's on the feet. Jocelyn Edwards, on the other hand, I think she definitely, with her height and reach advantage, and just overall, better striking skill, I think she wants to keep this standing. She does have poor takedown defense in the UFC, but that's against some pretty good fighters. One of them might have been Rose Clark. Yeah, Rose Clark. Rosa. I mean, so take it with a grain of salt, but I definitely like Jocelyn Edwards in this because of what we saw out of Ramona Pascual in her initial fight. I'm kind of hesitant to even say the fight's gonna go the distance. I think I just really like Jocelyn Edwards with the reach advantage. She's going to have the ability to, push back Ramona, and then she's just going to avoid, getting caught on the ground for too long. So the odds makers do like this one to go the distance. We're looking at the method of victory. I mean, yeah, decision makes a lot of sense, but, there's always that KO looming, right? Especially against Ramona, she just didn't look the best. So you could maybe improve your odds a little bit more if you wanted to, minus 150 as opposed to what? Minus 165. I mean, I would say that submission is pretty much out of play for Jocelyn, but yeah, I don't know. Just be careful. Ramona does have one KO loss in her career, so if she gets, flipped by something hard enough, it could be, a quick night for her inside the distance. So definitely going with Jocelyn Edwards on the money line. I'll go ahead and based on the units that I put next to my picks on Twitter, you'll get an idea of how confident I am in these fighters. The next bout, we've got Liangna taking on Silvana Gomez Juarez. Na Liang, she is 19-5. Couldn't read my handwriting. In her professional career, she's 0-1 in the UFC. Silvana Gomez Juarez, minus 125, 0-2 in the UFC. She has 2 armbar submission losses in the UFC. And then we're looking at Na Liang with her 10 submission victories. She's got a height and reach advantage. I think she gets this fight to the mat, and from there, it's dangerous. Now, if the fight plays out on the feet, Silvana Gomez she's gonna win it all day. We saw in her last fight, she definitely clipped the girl she was fighting, had her wobbled, jumped on top, and ended up getting submitted. I think the persistent takedown efforts of Liang Na are going to be too much for Silvana Gomez to fend off. And I think ultimately, you could see this one ends inside the distance. So I love the submission decision result for this. I think I'm going with Liang Na on the money line. Both of these fights, these first 2 fights, you can see the odds are super close. Liang Na, I guess, is an underdog now at plus 105. I think I just like, you know, her persistence with the takedown, the fact that she does have the reach advantage, I think that plays to her favor a little bit in the stand-up department. Yeah, I think it's a great fight. I like the underdog though. I like so the odds makers do like the submission at plus 175. Silvana at plus 215 for the KO. I mean, I guess that's possible. So it's curious. I wonder, they do have it not going the distance at minus 280. Wow. I don't know about minus 280 on, but I like Na Liang. Um, yeah, just like her to get this victory. Plus 175 for the submission. I'd probably just go with the money line at that point, right? At plus 105. Not enough juice, not enough incentive. Yeah, I think Silvana will have the striking advantage, especially from a power standpoint. She's just going to have it. Na's going to use it to kind of set up get her moving backwards. Young Ho Kong taking on Bajragul Dana. Stylistically, we've got Young Ho Kong. He's on a 1-fight losing streak, 17-9 professionally. Definitely more of the grappler. See it in the takedown numbers here. He's going to have an advantage in the grappling game. He's looking for his first win in a long time. (2019). Yeah. And he's searching for his first win in a while. I guess he only fought Rani Kaya. Who is, I believe, a terrific jiu-jitsu artist, so brings something different to the table than Bajragul. But yeah, Young Ho Kong, he's going to need this to get to the mat. He is going to have the height and reach advantage. Bajragul, on the other hand, he's coming in on short notice. Took a loss to Chris Gutierrez about 3 months ago, got KO'd, which you don't like, but he is the favorite heading into this fight. He's only on a 1-fight losing. Basically, I think for Bajragul to win this, he's going to need this fight to play out on the feet. Can't be giving up time and control with his back on the mat. Obviously, I mean, I don't know if he's even going to have an output advantage, but he's going to have for sure a power advantage. Really kind of stiff and hard punches coming from Bajragul. I wish he was the underdog because that would make it like so much sweeter to take him, but I'm going to go with Bajragul. I think he does or is able to keep the fight off the mat, and I think he's able to clip and hurt Young Ho Kong at some point in the fight and put it away. I think he's just gonna, like, from a striking perspective, I think he's gonna be landing the harder punches. Young Ho Kong is gonna be wearing them a little bit more, and Bajragul at various points, I'm wagering basically he's gonna be able to put away Young Ho. As far as Young Ho, his path to victory, I think is a decision. I think it's dominating from a control perspective and the grappling, especially if he's not able to compete in the striking department. I think he can though. I think it just comes down to how the fighters are going to wear shots as this one goes on. And I'm just rolling with the harder puncher in Bajragul. I do feel like this is a fight I'm for sure avoiding betting on, because I do feel like the Kang decision makes a lot of sense in my head. Like, if he comes out and he is throwing more output on the feet, and then he's also able to take, mix in maybe like 2 takedowns and decisively take a couple rounds, I think that's paints a positive picture and a really, really easy path to victory for Young Ho Kang. So I think that makes a lot of sense. I think Badrigal flipping him at some point, just because of his, what he does, and we've seen some. I think he was, before getting knocked out, he was coming off of 3 knockout victories, so we know what he brings to the table. Out of his 12 wins, 8 of them are knockouts. I don't think Young Ho Kang is gonna submit Badrigal, but if he wasn't gonna get a decision, no, it's hard to submit someone from like top position. You don't really see it too often unless they're able to isolate an arm, or if Badrigal gives out the back, I guess the rear naked choke's always a possibility. I don't know. I kind of like this one to end inside the distance. I like Badrigal via KO, but no way am I betting on one. It's kind of too weird of a fight stylistically. Next fight, we've got a little bit of a mixing up going on. Brendan Allen taking on Jacob Malkoon. Brendan Allen 18-5, 1 fight win streak in the promotion. Jacob Malkoon 2-1 in the UFC. Jacob Malkoon, Rob Whittaker's training partner. He's a really good wrestler, has a heavy top approach, wrestling. Definitely needs to be grappling in this fight and stay safe in order to win. And I think best case scenario, we're looking at a decision for Jacob Malkoon. Brendan Allen, on the other hand, he's going to be the better striker in this fight. Definitely don't want to see him he's going to have jiu-jitsu as well. He's a good grappler, but you don't want to see him just like filling on his back, unable to get out from underneath Jacob Malkoon. So I think it would be in his advantage to avoid the takedowns and avoid the grappling, if at all possible. And if he does get there, maybe use a submission attempt or give him a weird look just to get back to your feet and resume the fight on the feet. I could definitely see a path to victory where Jacob Malkoon's just laying on top of him, but I like Brendan Allen in this one. Brendan Allen is a little bit of a heavy favorite, in my opinion, at -275. I'm sure they like the decision. They like the submission. Yeah, I mean, if there's a high probability that this fight gets to the mat, if we're looking at Jacob Malkoon, his only loss was a KO loss, but I mean, it's safe to say like he's gonna end up in Brendan Allen's guard at some point, and is Brendan Allen able to pull something off crazy, or is he able to scramble and find Malkoon's back or something like that? I don't know. I kind of like the Brendan Allen decision as a result. I think if he doesn't get the decision, I think the Jacob Malkoon decision makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I do think the fight goes the distance. I think if Brendan Allen's fighting a smart fight, he's point striking, avoiding the ground and taking rounds that way. So I like Brendan Allen in this -290. I'm pretty comfortable with, betting him on the money line. I do think like maybe there's an opportunity to get his odds a little bit better by I mean, you could get it a little bit better with Brendan Allen and over 105, 1.5 rounds. I mean, there is that threat of submission. 10 submission victories for Brendan Allen. I mean, I do think it goes the distance, but I'm probably just going to do money line, honestly, on Brendan Allen. We're betting a unit. That's only $3 back. Definitely got to parlay him with someone. Man. Yeah, we'll have to see. I'll definitely it's definitely something that needs to be parlayed in my opinion. Next fight. We've got Mehashate. In my head, I can't decide if that looks like Mishatate or Machete. Taking on Steve Garcia. Mahashete, he's a relatively touted prospect, 8-1 professional record. Won his UFC debut, or no, this is his UFC debut. Comes in. His opponents, the combined record of his opponents, 20-32. Does appear to have some decent stand-up game to him. Is going to, I guess we could give him the stand-up advance, but I just don't love the combined record or experience heading into this fight against a fighter like Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia, he's 1-1 in the UFC. Yeah, we're definitely gonna give him the grappling advantage in this. Just say it's in his back pocket. Does have his own ability to KO fighters, so I think I just like his experience a lot heading into this fight. I think Mahashate, we got to see him get tested against some stiffer competition. So, Steve Garcia is someone I definitely like, and I'm fading Mahashate in this. Yeah, like Steve Garcia a lot. Is the favorite at -180. They don't like the fight to go the distance. I hear them when you're looking at the method of victories for each fighter. 12 out of 12 wins for Garcia. We're looking at 9 KO victories. Out of 8 wins for Mahashate, we're looking at 3 knockout wins. I mean, if Steve Garcia just fights a smart fight and is scoring takedowns and just point striking them up, staying out of harm's way, like that's a great path to victory. But I do kind of have to agree. Like I think both guys probably fight this one standing up, and yeah, I think it's probably likely that the fight doesn't go the distance. And if we're looking at winning methods, probably KO here, -135. I'd probably, like, Steve Garcia is probably, for me, like a half a unit kind of bet, just going against the inexperience of Mahashate, and then the KO you could do at a half unit too. Just a hedge. I mean, I think it's likely with stylistically with these fighters. one's probably going to get knocked out. So, I don't know. Might do something like that for that fight. The next fight we've got is Sung Woo Choi taking on Josh Labao. Sung Woo Choi, 3-3 in the UFC. He's on a 1-fight losing streak. National Muay Thai champion, terrific stand-up. Does have a little bit of a height and reach advantage in this fight. He's taking on Joshua Labao, 1-1-1 in the UFC. His only loss in the UFC was to Jalen Turner. That was a short notice fight, up a weight division. Man, this is a tough one. I think Josh Labao is definitely down to throw, to stand up in exchange with Sung Woo Choi. He did it with Charles Jourdain. Scored the draw, I believe, against him. So I don't know. I like Labao, but I kind of think Labao needs to turn this really dirty, and I don't know if he's going to have that ability to do it against someone like Sung Woo Choi. Stylistically, I think he should shoot for some takedowns throughout the fight. Josh Labao, just haven't seen it really from him yet. And I think if this fight plays out entirely on the feet, I think Sung Woo Choi and his Muay Thai is just gonna kind of shine through and break him down. So I'm gonna go with Sung Woo Choi on the money line. He is, again, a favorite, -225. I think it's a little bit closer than that. I think there's maybe, if you're looking into it, I think there's maybe a little bit of value on the Josh Labao knockout. I don't really see him winning a decision, though, against Choi. But I think maybe there's a little bit of value on that +650 knockout. If I had to decide if the fight was going to go the distance, with a guy like Labao, it's almost like he kind of forces you into those situations where it's like someone's going out. So I think the fight doesn't go the distance. And I also kind of think for that reason, is Choi going to be overwhelmed and swarmed by that? I don't really think so, because he does have the power. Well, we shouldn't say power, but he does have the height and reach advantage. So is he able to? I think he's just going to point strike him to a decision, but just stylistically, Labao is really going to push that pace forward. So maybe that's something you don't bet on. I like the Sung Woo Choi decision here, like I said, so maybe I hedge it a little bit. So if I'm doing a unit there, what do I need to recoup my investment? I only need to do a $3 bet, right? On the Labao. You just need to do a fraction of your bet to recoup the money. Do 1/5 of the bet and recoup your money, right? Might hedge it a little bit if I do bet on that. But going with Sung Woo Choi to win the decision. Especially if it plays out on the feet. I love Jack Della Maddalena. 11-2 professionally heading into this fight. 1-0 in the UFC. Incredible boxer. Good leg kicks. Good jab. The question here against Ramzan Emiv, is he going to be able to avoid the takedowns? Kind of crazy record difference between the two fighters. I think it's a big test for Jack Della Maddalena to go in here avoid the takedowns of a guy like Ramzan and really keep this fight standing. But I think he can do it. Definitely can't. I mean, and Ramzan is durable in his own right. I mean, he only has 1 KO loss on his record. I think Jack does have the capacity to knock him out. We'll see who's most aggressive early. If like Ramzan is able to get a takedown super early in the fight, I think that makes him dangerous the rest of the fight. He's gonna tire out Jack. He's gonna hop ahead on the scorecard. I think, I think that plays to his advantage. Going with Jack Madalena, though, pretty confident in him this fight. I do, maybe too confident, right? This is a big test, but I do think he's going to keep the fight standing. I think if he does get taken down, I think we were able to see him get up, especially earlier on in the rounds. And then from there, it's just about hurting Ramzan and deterring those takedowns. So maybe use the leg kicks a little bit less so you don't get grabbed. But like Jack a lot. Fight props, they do like the fight to go the distance, which is kind of interesting. Do they like the decision? I mean, yeah, I guess so. Plus 165 only. Versus minus 155. Yeah, I mean, the decision makes a lot of sense, but Jack's a good boxer. He's a damn good boxer. 9 KO victories out of his 11. 1 submission win, 1 decision win. So, I don't know. Maybe the KO has some value there. If I think Jack's going to... Maybe the fight not going the distance, maybe that has some value. Maybe a play like Madalena, under 2.5. They don't have that. Damn. Ignore that. So, I'm probably just going with Jack Madalena on the money line. Maybe that's who I'm parlaying Brendan Allen with. How does that look? Plus 124. And then I also really like, well, and we'll get to it, but I'm super, like, besides the main event here, I'm super excited to watch Andre Fialho compete, see what he's able to do, especially against Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews comes into this fight with a lot of experience, but Andre Fialho, he's a damn good boxer. So we're gonna have the privilege of watching Jack Madalena and Andre Fialho back to back, terrific boxers. Yeah, really like Fialho. I think Jake Matthews definitely has the tools and the ability to fight. He's got the takedown. He probably should implement some of those takedowns. I think he makes a lot of sense. But similar to Bogal, I'm going with the stand-up artist. I'm going with the boxer. I'm going with the guy that I think's hit harder and can knock out anyone. He had a tough debut loss against Michel Pereira. He's fought better fighters than Jake Matthews, right? In Fialho. Went to, it was a unanimous decision loss. But, yeah, like Fialho in this. Looking for a KO for sure. KO victory. I think if you're betting on Fialho, he is the favorite. I think it makes a lot of sense if you're betting on him straight up to just take the KO. Jake Matthews in his career, he only has one knockout loss, and that was to Kevin Lee. But we'll see what happens in this fight. Jake Matthews, like I said, he does have really good experience. He's got kind of all the tools he needs to win this fight, but it lies in grappling, and is he able to effectively take down Andre Fiallo for 3 rounds? I don't know. I don't really see it, but let's see how the fight plays out. I like Andre Fiallo. Andre Fiallo is probably one of those fighters I'm throwing in there. Zhang Weili taking on Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Joanna, this is her first fight since losing back in, it was 2020. She lost to Zhang Weili. Why is it Zhang Weili here? Weili Zhang. Weili. Weili, she's coming off of 2 losses to Rose Namajunas. I did like how she responded in the second Rose fight after getting knocked out. I thought she definitely stood a chance of winning that fight. Unlike their previous fight, this fight is only 3 rounds. So I think for that reason, I think kind of the speed advantage and the output advantage of Joanna, I think that matters less in a 3-round fight. And because if you're only outstriking Weili by 5 strikes per round, 10 strikes per round, and Weili still effectively landing the harder strikes, I think that plays to your disadvantage. I think if you're a fighter who has terrific cardio, it obviously is advantageous to add more rounds onto the fight. You're starting to sprint when your opponent's tired. So I think this fight isn't going to live up to what the first one was. It's not going to be anywhere as good. But I do think it's going to be different, and I think Zhang Weili wins the fight, probably because of similar reasons. Like, Joanna's just not wearing the shots well. Weili is looking like she's hurting Joanna a little more effectively. So I like Weili in this. I get the Joanna argument. She's faster. She's going to have better output. She's probably the more technical striker, but Weili was able to hit her last fight. So I don't know. Unless Joanna's just totally swarming Weili and making her super uncomfortable on the feet, I just don't really see the fight playing out any differently. In addition to that, I think the adjustments made by Weili in that second Rose fight, I think she's capable of making great adjustments in this fight as well. So I like Weili. I think it'd be smart to mix in a takedown attempt or 2. Make sure you're taking the rounds. So let's go up and look at what the odds makers think. Weili is the favorite at -150. Joanna +130. If we're looking at whether they like to go the distance, I'm sure they do. Yep, -250. I think that's money. Winning method. Yeah, it's got to be decision. So fight lines, yeah, over 2.5. I like Weili. I do like it to go the distance more than I like picking Weili straight up. It was a close first fight. I just think in a 3-round fight, the propensity to for Joanna to hop ahead significantly in the strike department is just lessened. And she's got to come out ready to fight Wiley. So I think that's going to be tough to do after effectively, it was December 2020, I think was their last fight. Do I have it written down? I don't know. I think it was December 2020, so been a while. 18 months. She's getting back in the octagon, and she's doing it arguably against, the toughest fight in the divisions. Next fight, we've got the heavy favorite Valentina Shevchenko taking on Talia Santos. Shevchenko, we know what she brings to the table. Terrific fighter, well-rounded. Yeah, I mean, arguably, well, there's no question. You can have multiple GOATs, right? You can have a Mount Rushmore of GOATs in MMA. And Valentina Shevchenko, like, as far as the accomplishments of women fighters in this sport, she is as decorated as anyone. Terrific. And she's up against a worthy opponent, I think, in Talia Santos. She's coming off of 4 fights where she's won. Has great size. I think she's the clear, front runner as contender. Great size, very strong. And the question is like, can she hurt Valentina? Can she control Valentina in the grappling department for a round? Like, is she gonna effectively put together a game plan that beats someone with Valentina's experience and skill set? And where she's good everywhere. I mean, there's no question about it. So it's like, is Talia better than her in any department? And is she able to identify that early on in the fight and take advantage of it and build a game plan around that? I don't know. It's a tall task. I mean, I like Valentina Shevchenko at minus 630. That's ridiculous. I do think it's also a 5-round fight. Has Talia been in a 5-round fight before? No. Yeah, gotta roll with Shevchenko in this fight. Like Talia, I get why you would put money on her as the heavy underdog. If you were to do that, I'd be curious, like, do you just go with the KO, right? Is that how she's doing it? Or is she literally picking apart Valentina for, a 5-round fight and winning a decision? Yeah, I mean, I kind of think Talia, she's coming into this with only 1 decision loss on her record. Shevchenko's last loss was to Amanda Nunes at a heavier weight. I mean, is Talia going to be able to come in here and win the decision? It's possible for sure. I'm just trying to pick something other than Shevchenko money line. You cannot bet Shevchenko on the money. It's just too crazy. Maybe I do like Valentina in over 2.5 rounds to get the minus 200 odds. Over 2.5 minus 200. It's a little bit of an improvement. I do think Talia is going to be most dangerous early, and like maybe there's a feeling out kind of period between the two fighters early on in the fight. I think Talia, Valentina kind of says she's judged off of whether she can finish her opponent or not, and you can see like She did it first Murphy. She did it first Andrade. She didn't do it against Jennifer Maia. She got grappled and actually lost a round in that fight. But like, yeah, I think I like maybe Talia's ability and durability to for sure make this fight go the distance. I do think it will go the distance. I think the Valentina decision, but to play it safe, I think like Valentina and over is maybe where I'm playing this. Like, yeah, maybe over 2.5. Kind of a deal. Crazy odds though. Again for Valentina. Glover Teixeira taking on Yuri Prochazka in the main event. Glover, obviously won the fight against Jan Blachowicz to win the belt last year, I think in November. He's on a 6-fight win streak. It's just incredible what he was able to do amidst the 6-fight win streak. If we just look at the opponents he faced, you know, there were some times I definitely picked against him. I picked against him with Jan Blachowicz. Santos was interesting, right? Because he was coming off of surgery in this fight. Anthony Smith, I think Teixeira knocked him out, or maybe it was a decision, but it should have been stopped. That's what I remember. Yeah, does it have a method of victory listed? I don't know. If it wasn't stopped, it should have been. Krylov, Kudabala, Roberson, and then obviously struggled against Corey Anderson. And did they remove the loss to John Jones? They might have, because John Jones might have been like, maybe there was some sort of medical. He beat Glover right in. I'm pretty sure between Serkinov and Jones, it was Glover. Or sorry, between Serkinov and Anderson. I thought it was Jones, but maybe it wasn't. Teixeira, yeah, just absolutely ridiculous what he's been able to accomplish thus far. I just think Yuri's he's one of those dudes, only 2 fights in the UFC, and he's one of those dudes like everyone just kind of looks at him and is like, this guy's next. Punches a tree 500 times a day. Just an absolutely crazy and violent dude on the feet against Dominic Reyes, hurting him, getting him against the fence, just a brutal spinning elbow. Glover Teixeira is really good. He's game to fight. And Yuri just kind of looks scary, right? And looks confident when in the octagon. I think Glover's a great test for him. Especially with his ability to grapple and be so dominant, ground and pound and department. But yeah, if Glover's not making this dirty every single second of the fight, I think Yuri's gonna catch him eventually in the fight, and for that reason, I like Yuri a lot. I think he can, like, in some way escape the Glover Teixeira. You know, if he is taken down, I think he does have the ability and capacity to get back to his feet fairly quickly. Yeah, I don't think this fight goes the distance. They like either the submission or Yuri KO. I think the Yuri KO is probably likely. I think I might be doing something like Yuri and under. Oh, they don't have under 4.5. Yeah, maybe just the Yuri KO. Maybe that's what I'm looking at. Love Yuri. Love him. At minus 200 too. What could we build with that, you know? Very confident in that. That's probably the fight I'm most confident in. And then just got this, and you gotta respect what Valentina's done, right? Does she warrant those odds? I don't know. Does seem kind of crazy to me. Brendan Allen. No, I think I like Jack. Brendan Allen, I like him to win. Don't get me wrong. It's just kind of a crazy fight. Who am I kidding? I like Andre Fiallo. I like him a lot. And I even like, just like doing the breakdown, I like Jocelyn Edwards a lot as well. Brendan Allen, I would throw him in as well, but you know, definitely I'm not minus two. Is he the second biggest favorite on the card? He might be. I'm not minus 275 odds. I'm not a fan of that against Jacob Malkoon, who could easily just stay safe and top control. So I'm not a huge fan of that. But yeah, that concludes our UFC 275 fight breakdown. We definitely be a fine. We got to see what the score is. So I did over 113.5, and I took the Warriors. Kind of curious what the stat breakdown. People hate Draymond. What do you guys think about Draymond? I don't know. I'm not a hater. I don't think he's that bad of a dude. I kind of think, I mean, I agree with people when they say like, "Oh, he's someone you'd love to have on your team, but you hate to have playing your team." I kind of agree with that sentiment. It's just he's just an absolute pest, if you ask me, but hey, I'm here for it. And if it's not against my Bulls, like, I don't really care. You know, you can complain all you want about him. I think he's entertaining, fun to watch. It's kind of crazy, like how much he relies on his, defensive tenacity and just like competitiveness to be on an NBA floor. He definitely doesn't look like other players out there at his size from a skill standpoint, but I'm a fan. And then Steph Curry's just awesome. I love, the Celtics team too. But yeah, I was just rolled with Golden State on the money line and parlayed that with over 113.5. So we'll see what happens. That was like plus 375 odds or something. I could get it for you. Oh. Yep. Plus 375. Not bad. I also want to check MLB score lines. I did a little bit of a wager on the Marlins because someone was pitching for them that I liked. Who pitched for them? Where'd they go? Oh, here it is. Oh, I didn't know Jorge Soler was on the Marlins now. I thought he was on the I just traded for him in my fantasy league. I thought he was on the Kansas City Royals still. Pablo Lopez having a terrific year. Yeah. Went with the Marlins as a slight underdog. I've got kind of a crazy parlay I just saw. So it's the Miami Marlins, Golden State Warriors over 213, or sorry, 213 and a half. New York Yankees and Atlanta Braves. Wonder what's happening in this. Now I'm kind of wrapped up. But those odds plus 2146. Kind of crazy. So, and then I wanted to check the Atlanta Braves. Up 4-0. The Braves are kind of streaking right now. I believe, yeah, they've won quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it was back in May. And I've just been like, they've been hot. I've just been betting on them. They're pretty hot. I think, are they going to sweep the Pirates in a 4-game series? It's probably unlikely, but I don't know if I don't know when they're going to lose next. It might be this Giants series. Cubs will get one from them. Cubbies can do it. I was able to tour Wrigley Field yesterday. That was pretty. It's Wrigley and Fenway. They're the only 200-year-old stadiums, and then after that, the next oldest is like the next oldest is maybe like 50 years old. We got some time. We're gonna do trending topics, SmackDown, of course. Probably, yeah, we'll probably have some NBA related tweets in here. Okay, Paige is a wrestler. Oh, Tennessee, I was reading about this. They have a pitcher who throws it 104.5 miles per hour. Oh, is Tennessee down? Steve Kerr, Bieber. Why is Biebs trending? He is. What is that? The hunts. A rare neurological disorder characterized by paralysis of the facial nerve, facial palsy, and rash affecting the ear or mouth. Damn. hopefully he gets better, gets over that. That's I'm not sure if that's something you can get better from. I don't know, but that's shitty. Like some of the Beavers, puppy turds. I don't quite get it. Drew Gilbert. Otto Porter. Severino. Dave Portnoy. What's he trending for? Something happened with Ron Rivera. Well, not with Ron Rivera. It was with Jack Del Rio. Oh, about the insurrection. You just compared it to... I mean... I don't know. I don't know if he needs to apologize for that, but... Or Ron Rivera needs to apologize for that. They're in Washington, though. It's political hotbed. Makes sense they have to. I think, I don't know. No. They had hearings about it today. It was one of those things I remember watching it, like, people just, like, shooting it on YouTube live, and it just looked a lot different. Not unlike... 1 second. Well, that was good. That was a sign. You don't need to hear my take on it. That was a sign just to avoid talking about it altogether, right? Oh, it does show the trending topics. Good. Shane Dawson. Who's Shane Dawson? Who the fuck is Shane Dawson? I don't know who he is. But he seems weird based on those comments. Yeah, I think we're gonna maybe call the show on that note. Thanks for that, Twitter. We'll have fights next weekend. These ones I'm gonna catch probably on Sunday or later Saturday evening. I can't watch them live, unfortunately. So I'll get my picks out there by tomorrow morning with units. Again, my Twitter handles in the chat there. Go ahead, subscribe, like the video. you subscribe to the channel, you'll be eligible to win an NFT. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a great weekend, everyone. I will talk to you all next Friday. We got 10 weeks in a row of fights next Friday. Peace.